We strive to print out every proposal customized for our individual customers.
Sorry, dude.
Mm-hmm. All right. Can they hear us? I think they can.
I just turned my speaker off. I can't tell.
Yep, we're good.
Customized for our individual.
All right. All right, we're ready, guys. Hello, Cat.
Look, the star is here.
Yes, the star of the show has finally arrived. All right, welcome to the Living Late podcast, episode 3.
Number 3.
Yeah. All right, so we're actually doing this one publicly live. So our previous 2 lives were members only, and I figured every once in a while we would do a public live. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you have any questions during the stream, let us know. If you guys aren't familiar with what this is our sort of live recording of the Living Late podcast, and I've actually pinned a comment in the live stream. If you follow that link, you can go to our Living Late podcast channel, and you can go and subscribe over there. That is where we're going to start posting our weekly podcast. Might not be completely weekly. I'm sure we're going to have breaks here and there. But so, yeah, if you guys would, head over there and subscribe. So, looks like there's
lots of familiar
50,
names popping in.
53 of you in here. Hello.
So, the intent on this is once a month you're going to do the whole channel.
Probably.
And then the rest of them be members.
Yep.
Just trying to be consistent with the messaging. And so we talked about this briefly while I was traveling and on the way home. And
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that opens it up to a lot of people to share some ideas, share some thoughts, share some questions.
I see a couple people said that wood is not a great material for supporting your turbo. It's a good tip there.
Depends upon how fast you go down the quarter mile.
Yeah, they're referring to the thumbnail photo for this podcast. So, yeah.
There should be a lot of comments about that. That's a cool looking picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that project's getting close. I did say the last time that the last episode that we did on that project, I said that the next time that you would see it, it would be running, and that has turned into quite the undertaking. I kind of wish I could take that back, but we're getting close to the point that the thing is close to being started up. It's definitely going to be twist some wires together and have a little tank sitting next to the car, and it's going to be a little bit jerry-rigged, but hopefully we can get this thing running here. I mean, I'm super excited to hear what the thing sounds like, as I'm sure many of you are as well. And if you saw the thumbnail photo, we had talked about doing a single turbo. That's where that turbo got to. I was looking for that thing earlier. Okay. Sorry.
Are you stealing my twins?
No, we have like 6 of them in the basement.
Okay. Because I had my heart set on a project with those.
Uh-huh. Okay. No, well, those, no, definitely not.
Okay.
So, if you saw the thumbnail photo, you saw that there are 2 turbos in the thumbnail, and I think it's laying out such that it's like it kind of needs 2 turbos. It's just going to look better with 2 turbos, so that's probably the direction that we're going to go with that.
In what decade are you going to get those things to spool?
Well, they're the little guys. The 62s,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the ones I suggested.
Yes, the ones you suggested. Yes, Dad was right. Okay. All right. Blaine Bowling, he asks, so why use the 8 HP if you're only going to use 5 gears. Maybe the ratios. Yeah, the ratios are really, really favorable. That's why. I mean, you're not going to use the overdrive gears either way. So, like, you know, it's why do they use 5-speed Liberty transmissions in pro what is it? Not Pro Mod,
Pro Stock.
Pro Stock. Thank you. Why do they use Liberty 5 speeds in Pro Stock?
Well, it keeps the RPM band very tight.
Exactly. Yep. That's my point. Yep. Yo, what's up? What's up? Victor A or
Oh,
Victora?
no. Yeah, Victora. Yeah, good question.
What's the next upgrade on the 6-cylinder power plant?
The cams.
Yeah,
Or are we doing the compression first? Or are we doing the cams and the compression?
Well, which? Oh, you're saying for the
for the land speed
10A.
car.
Okay, you're thinking that. Okay. Oh, I was thinking about the red car.
Oh. So my car gets to sit in the backyard again.
See, his head goes to his car, my head goes to my car.
You're killing me.
They're both red cars, though. Okay, so we have
This is not working well for me.
We have multiple 6-cylinder projects that we have planned in the future. So when you ask that could refer to many things. But one path we're going down is we're building a 14-to-1 naturally aspirated effort. Already have the pistons. We already have a much more aggressive set of camshafts, which I did see somebody. I forget which video it was under, but they were asking about billet cams versus reground cams. We could get into that as well. But we have a set of reground cams that are much more aggressive than the cams that we've been running in the past. So excited to give those a shot. And then, with that, I don't know if we would do. We've been talking about doing dry sump with that one. I think.
We need to do that because right now the pan that fits that car is actually in my Camaro.
Yep.
So after seeing the success on your car with the dry sump and knowing the RPMs that we want to go to, we're going to focus on a multi-speed transmission. You get to talk about that. But we're going to keep the power band very tight on that, get that thing wound up and keep it there. And we're going to need to use the dry sump to keep that thing alive.
Yep.
But the simple question to Victoria is our first efforts are going to be on the camshaft. The cams that we have been using is a very mild grind, but it's a regrind factory. We now have a much more aggressive cam that's been through a ton of simulation tests, and we're working directly with the grinder on what we can anticipate, and we think that we're going to see the same kind of power levels with about 10 less pounds of boost, which is pretty exciting. Obviously, when we use those cams with the 14-to-1 engine, we're not going to be running boost, but with his car, which is likely going to be the one that gets the cams because he's going to kick my Camaro to the curb again.
We got a couple sets of them.
Yeah. You want to be just taking all the best parts and putting them on your junk. Okay. Matt's here. Hey, Matt.
Yep.
A lot of folks are here.
We got
Michael.
Matt, we got Matt, Mark, and John.
Hey,
So,
Mark.
Yeah, I think we see a theme here.
Yep.
It's like a
The M&M gang.
Well, I was thinking books of the Bible. But, yeah.
So,
Mark,
hey,
John.
we got a North Star question.
Yep. And thanks for saying that, Matt. That's like and share. Yes, like and share. Yeah. You mentioned about the transmission behind that.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that, and then we're going to pick on you about your North Star choice.
Okay. So, for the transmission behind the 14-to-1 build, being that it's a land speed car, it doesn't really need to launch super aggressively. and I have a BMW 7-speed dual clutch transmission that I would like to run behind that. Um, the 7-speed dual clutch transmissions are not known to take the launch super aggressively, or they tend to bog the engine or that kind of thing. So getting the launch dialed in on that obviously is very difficult. So we're planning to run that on a land speed effort because you don't need to do that. In fact, you are strongly discouraged from spinning the tires too much when you launch. They don't like when you kick up the rocks and stuff, right?
Well, they tell you don't do it.
Yeah, if you do it, then they
They
will tell you
grumble
to
at
stop.
you.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows who grumbles at you knows who I'm referring to, and one of our favorite people, but you don't want growled at by him.
Yeah. So that's going to be a really kind of just different in every way kind of build. I mean, it'll still be the same core, inline six Vortec 4200 that we all love, but it's going to be taking everything and just kind of doing something different. So.
Yeah, max effort. The ultimate goal is to try and get up over 200. Be really cool if we get to do that with the naturally aspirated engine. We would need to put stack a lot of variables in our favor, and that's one of the reasons why the 7-speed made more sense. What's the first gear ratio on that?
It's actually pretty steep. It's like
should be like a 4-to-1.
I think it was like
something
407, something like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. And then the gear splits, because it's 7 gears, once you get that thing wound up, you're able to keep the gear split is so tight that it keeps the RPMs up in the power band where you want it.
7th is 1-to-1.
7th is 1-to-1. So we'll be running about probably a 250 or a 275 rear gear. And then
I think 6th is like 113.
Oh, that's
so it's
good.
like super tight.
Yep.
So, yeah. With land speed racing, you're dealing with you're fighting the air, and as you go faster and faster, that air resistance becomes greater and greater. So you really have to, for like the first couple gears, you can get away with a little bit more RPM drop, but with the higher gears, you really need to. Like if you're running a regular manual, you need the 3-4 shift on like a 4-speed is like the most critical shift of the entire run, because you can lose so much speed.
The aero horsepower will it's like you'll feel like you're in reverse.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, yeah.
And this preloads for those not familiar with the dual clutch.
Yep.
It preloads the odd and even gears as you shift up through, so that the shifts are lightning fast. What kind of controller are you going to have to put on that?
It's going to be a Max ECU.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be the factory controller in the transmission, but it's going to be a Max ECU to talk to it.
Okay.
It's just going to make it think that it's hooked up to a BMW and everything's okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's going to go into the Datsun. For those familiar with the Datsun, it's got the extended long nose, and we originally started putting that car together to be a modified sport effort. And so it's going to be a nice package when it's done. That'll be the most aerodynamic car we ever ran down the track. And between the aero package and the engine package and everything that's been learned and the transmission, all those details hopefully will come together, and we'll be able to pursue some records very quickly.
Yep. So, yeah. So I guess that answers the question, what's next on the 6 cylinders?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for the red car in particular.
Your red car.
Yeah, my red car. I mean, for that, it's more just maintenance. It's, we got to get I want to put a larger feed line on the dry sump. I was actually talking to Dustin the other day, and he said he's never seen one with less than a 16 feed, a dry sump pump with a 16 feed from the tank.
No kidding?
Yeah, he's like, I've never seen one with less than a 16 feet. And I'm like, well, mine had a 12 on it. So I just assumed that it was good. And so I think that's probably my problem on there, is I just don't have enough feed line going to the pump section on the dry sump pump. So, yeah.
So, at what point are you going to be ready to launch that thing in first gear? And I
don't know. I mean,
put some real numbers down
We gotta
instead
get
of
this
these
silly hot V running first. Which I saw somebody earlier here. Hang on. Somebody said, "Are you actually gonna do?" Man, I'm losing track of the comments. You guys are commenting too quick.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Are you gonna actually do a real video update?" I'm not familiar. He said, "Like I'm not familiar with the podcast thing. It's somewhere in here. I can't find it." But yes, we're gonna do video updates still. We're not just gonna become a podcast channel. Don't worry.
Nope.
You know, this is just a sort of supplemental thing. It's not meant to replace the content. So yes, I'm working on the video for the Hot V. That's like the next video will be of it running. It doesn't run right now, so you know I'm just as anxious as you are.
We got a 2900 question here.
Okay.
So, yes, we are very much planning on doing a 4-cylinder, but it's going to be a 2800.
Yeah.
The piston availability, the connecting rod availability are driving those decisions. Obviously, they interchange with the 4200 parts. The 2900 has a larger bore and a larger pin size, so we would have to work with somebody to develop those parts, and we don't have much of an appetite for that. We can put the 4200 parts into a 2800 and get to where we want to go, and we've already got the cylinder head ported and ready to bolt on, so now it's a matter of getting the other parts. We want to put that into the Sunbird. We still want to do that plan? All right. So the Sunbird, as you know, brought home the pumpkin head for the knucklehead, and we're super excited. That engine is going to be available for other projects, and then the 5-cylinder, when Calvin converted the wagon to the manual transmission, all the parts that were put together to make that package work actually will transfer over into the Sunbird, and we'll put the 4-cylinder in there, and that will have a multi-purpose life, including trying to run some land speed efforts and to do drag and drive and try and get into the low 8s with that package.
Can you regrind the Hot V cam to maximize intake duration? It is intake. They're just on the sides now. To overcome the decreased valve size. That's actually something that I had thoughts about, and I kind of was hoping that somebody who was like a cam grinder would like reach out and be like, "Hey, this sounds like a really interesting challenge to overcome. Here." I was kind of hoping that maybe somebody might do that, but at this point, you know, that hasn't happened quite yet. They may not want to. Could be a colossal failure, so they may not want their name associated with it. Which, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, as far as regrinding, like I've thought about that. Like maybe I could find a shelf grind of something that has a lot more intake duration than exhaust duration as like sort of something to try, because yeah, I think you're spot on with the thought process there. The problem is most cams are not like that. Most of the time they are doing the exact opposite for the exact opposite reason. They're doing more exhaust duration because the exhaust valve is smaller. So yeah, that one might be a hard one to find, but yeah. All right.
So talk about the North Star a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like every video we put out, somebody asks about the North Star, which it's all I can say is it's coming. I was working on it last week. I haven't worked on it this week. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the Hot V running, but my intent is to have that done by Southeast Street and Yeet. You know, I have the transmission is all put together for the thing. We're going with the Super T10 transmission behind it. You know, it's just there's a lot of chassis stuff that isn't super entertaining to watch on YouTube that has to get done. It's going to be a little bit. We're getting there. You'll likely see a lot more Hot V and Eagle Talon content before you see an update on the North Star. I'm sorry. Just got to get that out of the way.
Yeah, nobody's going to watch videos of us fixing rust repair.
Yeah,
on
it's just
70-year-old
right.
car. And
there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of metal that has to get replaced. And, all respect to everybody and other channels that have done very well doing rust repair. That's not our style. We want to get it to a product and share the product with you and not strangle you with rust repair, because there is a lot of work that needs to be done on that.
Yeah, I already reached out to Amplify. They're helping us out with the ECU on the car. They sent me one of their plug-and-play harnesses for an LS, I believe, that I'm going to cut apart and make work on that. They can control all four of the cams, the BBT, so we should be good there. So I'm excited to try out one of their products. It's just a mega squirt at the end of the day, but I'm excited to give it a shot. So it's coming. I'm sorry it's taken as long as it has. I'm excited about it, just like you guys are. I know. I saw somebody else make a comment. I think it was earlier today. He's like, "You keep starting more project, blah blah blah." It's like, relax. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. All right. Lots of questions. If you had a $5,000 budget for the Titan motor minus turbo setup, what would you upgrade? Well, we're essentially doing that build right now.
Actually, yes, and that would be a good segue to give folks an update of where we're at on that and the big setback that we had. And, we saw some comments come in recently about the lack of forward progress on that. Mm-hmm. We've had a major setback on it, so. You want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah. We worked with Molnar. They hooked us up with a set of rods for the build. Unfortunately, there's a few shelf offerings for pistons, and we decided to go with DSS pistons, which the engineering cost for that, it ended up being costing a little bit more than the other shelf offerings, but we did get the engineering cost out of the way. So if you guys want to go order some DSS pistons, you won't have to pay for that.
Yep.
You're welcome.
But there was a lot of advantages to paying for that fee too.
Sure.
The timing of it. So just to move forward, we had to work with them, get the engineering fees out of the way. They had to develop the piston, then they had to make the piston, then we had to get the piston, which led to the start of the assembly, and that's when the interference problems were identified.
Yeah, it turns out, if I had been paying attention, because I've watched pretty much all of John Rogers' videos on his VK build, and he talked about it pretty clearly in his one video. You have to clearance the bottom of the bore because the rod basically will get into the bottom of the bore, and you have to clearance it. And we're having a little bit of issues with that in particular at the moment, because it almost looks like we're going to have to take enough material off of there that it might poke throughout the side of the block a little bit. Now, we've already discussed putting epoxy over it to seal it back up. I don't think it's really going to be a strength concern.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about it because it's actually in the portion of the metal that's between all the webbing that makes for the structural strength of the block. But I'm still thinking that it's going to clear, because if we go to 40 thousandths clearance and Ben's doing that work, and we have a high degree of confidence that he knows exactly how much metal he's going to need to take out of there to make it happen. So, yeah, that delay is a delay on top of delays. And we share all that so that folks realize that, you know, you're going to see all this delay and then you're going to see rapid fire project after project. And it's frustrating for us to put stuff together that way because we'd rather be more consistent in the release. But the realities of Calvin's trying to carry the load by himself and I'm still working for another year really is a challenge. You know, as we transition to both of us out there full time, we'll be able to get the introduction of all the different videos on a more level.
Yeah, that's something I'm struggling with right now. Actually, is I I like doing the weekly videos. I think you guys like it as well, but it's really hard to stay on top of it. I don't want to just put out, these filler content type videos. I don't want to just, phone it in and, but it's like we're trying to get the hot V running. I know that's what you guys want to see, but it's just taking longer than I want it to. And, so that's something I'm struggling with right at this moment, actually. So, I know, but it's just the reality of doing this. All right. Wrenches and plants, says Calvin. Get Tom Bailey's GPS trackers for your cars. I actually just recommended them to somebody else earlier today, so you got it. We're already yep, way ahead of you. All right. Yeah, Matt. Matt, you're the best. You guys don't even take that long. People just need to shut up, in my opinion. Yeah, it's tough. It's I'm I think I'm probably one of my own worst critics.
You're way too hard on yourself.
Yeah, so it's just I don't know that you've always held Cameron and I to a very high standard.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of like, I've always tried to push myself as hard as I can. So
yep, but it has to be manageable on this.
Yep.
You guys did good. I cracked the whip when you were coming up, but you guys can find the right level at this point that makes sense. I still think releasing videos when they're ready as opposed to on a schedule every Sunday adds value because one, you get it out there, and two, what we've seen as the channel continues to grow is that we don't have that spike and little view during the week. We see a steady rise throughout the week, so that tells us that we can be a little bit more comfortable with a release date that isn't prescriptive.
Yep. Yeah, Matt also says maybe when they get 600,000 subs and people start throwing Haas machines at them, you really see some wild stuff. Yeah, I'd love to get a CNC machine. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
We talk about that almost every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be fun. All right. A cameraman, an editor, and other things make it easier to crank videos for sure. Yeah, that and it seems like I don't know. I spend so much time editing. That's like one of the biggest problems I have. I mean, I'm sure you guys are finding out through this podcast how much editing it requires because, like, I don't know. I go back and watch these podcasts, before I post them, and I'm like, man, I say all the time, and it just I have to. For the main videos, I'm very strategic with how I speak, and I'm trying to, be efficient with my words. And you guys are actually seeing my natural speech pattern when you watch the podcast. So yeah, sorry.
You don't sound like a doofus.
Okay. Yeah. Are you Joe Nunya? Joe, none your business. Are you doing all your own production and editing? That is a ton of work on top of the work being filmed. Yes. So I do all the editing. I do pretty much all the camera stuff. My brother helps on occasion.
Yep.
And he helps with editing on occasion, but it's like 95% me, I would say. So yeah. Even CEE had to go bi-weekly. CEE. I'm trying to think of CEE. Who is CEE? Who is CEE, Matt? I'll lobby for the CNC. Let's pull some strings. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It took me way too long to realize Nivlak was Calvin spelled backwards. Yes, it is. It's
even in the channel description. Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, you're not the only one that took a while. It's all good. All right. I'm sorry. I'm a big pusher for the filler words. This is why I stopped doing the dyno and log overview. It's awesome to show people, but so much time. Yeah.
Oh, folks, you gotta see how much time he spends on doing that.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, the overlays on the dynos take forever.
Yeah.
Because it's always... Because, you'll get a system. So, okay. All right. I'm going to go on a rant, and a lot of you are going to be like, shut up, nerd. But, okay, so to do those overlays on the videos, I use a program called Race Render. It only takes in data in a CSV format. CSV, that means comma-separated values. So that's the way that the data is stored. Now, when your ECU takes a data log, it doesn't always record in CSV format. And most of the time, it's some binary format where it's just, it's ones and zeros. It's more space efficient than CSV. So I have to take the data from the ECU, and then most of the time it has a way that I can export it as a CSV. But when I import it into Race Render, if there's too many values in the CSV format, it just cuts off after a certain point. So it'll get to maybe 50 to 100 values. And if you have any more than that, it just says, nope, we're not looking at any more of those. So I have to take the file, and then a lot of times I have to generate a macro, which I should probably make a macro for each ECU that I use, but it never seems to work out well. But I have to go through first file, make a macro to go through the columns, figure out which columns I want to display and which ones I don't want to display. And then I have to go through and delete all the columns that I don't want to display and, get this to a more streamlined form factor that I can put into the Race Render. And then you also have to fight with the video format because it doesn't like some of the video formats. It'll say, you can import an MP4, and for whatever reason, some of the MP4s that you import, I don't know if it's the compression format or the codec that it uses or whatever, but sometimes it imports it and it's all green and pink, and it's the image looks really bad because it doesn't know what to do with it because maybe it doesn't have the right decoder or whatever. So then sometimes I have to import the video into my video editor so that I can re-export it out of my video editor so that it is in a more proper MP4. And then you have to import that into the into the Race Render, then get your data file in there, and then you have to figure out how to sync it up. Normally I go off a transbrake release, or when you first hit the throttle on the dyno, so you have to sync up the data on the thing, and then you export that all out, and then sometimes the audio gets screwed up on the Race Render. It makes it all garbled and stuff, so then you have to take the file, re-put the original audio back into it, and it turns into this hours and hours and hours and hours. But I like it. I like seeing the data on the screen. It's not just for you guys. I know you guys enjoy it, but I also enjoy it. There's a lot of times where I'll see something where the data is playing along with the video, and I'll be like, and I'll make a better connection of what's actually happening with the car. So it's in the end, it's it's worth it to me, but it is so much time.
Painful.
It's like
All
that
right.
part alone is like half the process. So yeah, that's my rant on.
All right. So 2 things. Check out the big brain on Calvin. But I'll convert this all over to, common man language, like how my brain works. Blah, 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 comma. Blah, blah, comma. Blah, 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 comma. Blah, comma. Blah, 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 comma. Okay, so.
Yep. Did you guys get that? Did you get it? Does that make sense to you now? Yeah, Matt knows. He knows the race render stuff is so time consuming. Yeah, it's bad because like sometimes it spits out the video too. Sometimes and it's like super blown out. And okay, I'm done. I'm done.
That's lots of hours, but one of the things that Calvin has taken note to, and we all take note to, is how many positive comments he has received over the years and how many people appreciate that and spend time watching it, and they'll actually make comments about the data and what they're seeing. And I think a lot of people have learned from it, and that's one of the major things that Calvin has based his efforts on, is trying to make sure that you guys gain value from it on learning something through the videos. And that's really neat because it gives him a target on how he wants the audience to receive the videos. And those efforts that he just shared with you, they are tremendous efforts. There's tremendous long hours. We live side by side, and I look out the window and I see his light, his lights are on. When I get up in the middle of the night, I look out the window and I see that his lights are still on at 2, 3 in the morning, and I know that he's crunching data trying to get the videos put together.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, live OSD recording would be amazing. We need to talk Page or someone into it, or lobby race render to be able to import Holylog directly. Yeah, that would be cool. I know that's like one thing that's, I hope that the Fuel Tech guys, because the new Fuel Tech, of course, it's the FT700 has a video input, which meaning like you can feed video into the ECU, and I don't know how to feel. I mean, one, it's like the most expensive ECU. Like, what do those things cost? Like, so like, yeah, that's going to make it kind of prohibitive. But it is interesting that you can like feed video into the ECU itself. But then again, like, I don't know if I would really want, like, I would probably want to record footage. It's probably going to take all the data streams that I have into. All right. Yeah. Yes, it does. The new FT700 does have a video input, which for like a tuner, like if you're remote tuning, I bet that would be like super trick. But for like a content creator, like one video input's not nearly enough. Yeah, and it's probably laggy, and yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Calvin, one of the YouTubers I know, records his video audio is recorded on a separate device, and he inserts it into the video in software post. We used to do that. That is also painful. Yeah, if you know the clappers at the beginning of like the things that they use in like film and stuff. You know why they do that? It's to sync the audio with the video. When they clap the thing that tells the audio recording device there's a very sharp peak, and then they can sync it to the video. If you didn't know, you have to do that if you record on separate channels. You got to do a clap or something to sync the audio. Okay. All right. Shut up, nerd.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate what all 3 of you guys do. We're going to give a quick shout out to Mark from Buck Does It channel.
Yep, he's in.
He's an integral part of what we do. We find not only his involvement to be something we appreciate at a level that's hard to verbalize, but also he's inspiring to us. We really appreciate what he does in his own efforts, and it's a whole host of people. Cameron helps out when he can. Paula is a big supporter, and Mark is helps carry some of the heavy load.
Matt he said, or scream to prep yourself. I like that one. Sorry, I can control my laughter. Are you going to do another Hot V in the future, possibly incorporating AMG engineering? Maybe. This one's, we got to see how this one goes first. But I could see trying it. Like everybody, I've seen tons of comments from people asking, why not do it with a dual overhead cam engine? You could flop the heads side to side. But, well, okay, they say that, but they don't realize how difficult that is. Because most of the time, your cylinder head drains are on the outside of the cylinder head. So if you flop them, now your cylinder head drains don't line up.
Why can't we go full dork nerd and just change the cam position?
Well, yeah, you could, but they're stressing. They're talking about the valve sizing issue. That's yeah. So cylinder head drains, but most of the time they aren't symmetric.
More boost.
Most of the time they're not symmetric either. But yeah, there's a whole host of other things there.
Well, is that comment about the AMG? Is that more about do they have a Hot V engine?
There's multiple like BMWs, and I believe there's a AMG Mercedes that have Hot V. I'd be willing to give an actual Hot V engine a shot, but those are also like probably really expensive as well.
Well, everything was, and everything gets less expensive.
Yeah,
so.
I want to get like a BMW V10 or something.
I want a Coyote first.
Okay,
so
all right.
I'm gonna.
We'll see. Maybe, I don't know.
What if we put a Coyote engine in my Camaro?
We've talked about that, and I would not be opposed.
I think we would get shot at.
Oh, come on. It's just all...
What do you think, Hobbers? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, she just walked away. She won't look at us anymore. Okay. Hang on. This guy... okay. I wanted to see what his actual comment was. The first thing I thought of with Hot V was the 6.7 Power Stroke. I even thought about, like, is there a way to take one of them and convert it to gasoline or something? But
why not just build a diesel and,
yeah, but
go full redneck?
I guess. I don't know.
We could grow a mullet.
Yeah. Roll coal.
Yeah, wear a pair of poop kickers all the way up to our knees.
Come on. I think the whole reason
Marlboro, we could do the whole...
I don't know. The whole reason the EPA is like down everybody's throats is because of that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Godzilla in the Camaro now. It would be... That's not going to work. Truth be known, I want to put a LT in there, but Calvin's frowning upon that. He's not, not supporting this idea, so...
Okay. Alright. It's just rage baiting me. A screen recording would never be able to show the amount of live stuff you want to see without giving you no frame of reference, and having it all on the screen is 4K and text will be invisible. Yeah. Mark says, thanks guys, appreciate you too, buddy.
The Godzilla, this comment about that thing died out fast. You see interest rise and fall. It was amazing the 1 year, what year was it that we went to the PRI? And it was just a sea of Godzilla things being
That was
prepared.
like 24,
Or 23.
23, 24.
And
then
what
all
he
of a
just
sudden,
said, it just died.
it just stopped. Yeah, it was like everybody realized that they hit the same limit. It's like an LS that's way more expensive, and they hit the same limitations as the LS does with like head gasket sealing and that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, why not just use the LS at that point?
And how do you argue against the Coyote?
Yeah,
You know, 4 valves per cylinder.
And the head bolts. I think the head bolt placement is the key.
Yeah.
And Godzilla has the same problem that the LS does. It's, for the majority of you out there, doesn't matter. But like, for the really high horsepower stuff, it does. And, that's where the money is for that type of stuff. Like the LS it's just cheaper. It's just better for the average enthusiast. And, I would love to mess with a Godzilla someday just because, we like
cool.
messing with
we
cool,
like new stuff.
different stuff.
I would have a hard time doing that over a Hemi, though.
Yeah.
I think the Hemi makes way more sense with what we've seen on the Hemi.
Yep.
Obviously, that's going to be a project in the near future. Long before we're going to do a Godzilla build.
I wouldn't say the 7.3 Godzilla sucks.
Nah.
It's just not economical or not as economical.
It has limits.
It's a good engine.
It's a good engine.
It's just, there's gooder engines.
Is that a nerd term? Gooder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I learned that one in college.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Going full nerdo.
Okay.
Calvin,
do you guys want to try something really crazy?
Of
Convert
course.
one of those Atlas builds to a diesel.
No.
Build another 5-cylinder and convert it into a diesel.
Not gonna happen.
The guys in Comp Eliminator run like 17-to-1 compression ratio with those Atlas engines. So like they're pretty close. Get some direct. Okay, all right.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
Block's not rigid enough.
I could see doing a diesel someday.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because at some point we're going to get bored of the gas engines and we're going to do something dumb. But
even Hobbs is upset.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, Matt. I saw Matt left He said, I tuned a port-injected LS coil Cummins turbo. So it was a gasoline converted Cummins. That's crazy. Did it work okay at all, or like that's wild. It was a LPG oh, okay, it was a generator. Okay. Well, all right.
Pops is a car enthusiast who appreciates all cars. My preference became I grew up Ford and Chrysler, and became a Chevrolet enthusiast when I saw one disassembled. A friend of mine had it apart, and I looked at it, and it was amazing to me how much the engine made sense. Got my first small block right after that, and we've had Chevy engines here for a long, long time ever since that. But I raced Oldsmobiles, I raced Pontiacs, I raced a lot of Fords, big block and small block, and I had a boatload of 440 and 383s when I was younger. But the Chevrolet, dollar for dollar, could not be beat. And ultimately, that's why we ran those. And as Calvin was growing up, I kept pushing him to, don't just do what your dad does, because what I do is entertaining. But if you learn fuel injection and learn new technology, you can put food on the table. And he followed through with that, and I was very glad. When he wanted to go LS, we went all out LS. When he wanted to go Atlas, we went full bore Atlas, and being able to explore these different things. He's put a ton of energy into researching these things. I travel a lot for work, and I've been able to drag a lot of junk home because I'll get to different hotels, and I won't go out by myself at night, so I will often find marketplace sales. And at the time, years ago, it was Craigslist, and I would look for parts, and it would be one of the only reasons I would leave the hotel is to go chase down parts, and everything from converters that were 60 miles from the hotel to a lot of transmissions I've hauled out of Ohio. The 8 HP 70s, I was getting those out of Columbus, Ohio, and it's been a lot of fun to go on these wild goose chases to help support what we're doing on the channel. But am I a Mopar fan per se? Yes and no. I'm just a car enthusiast. I love every form of car that makes sense. Obviously a Yugo has no value. A Peugeot is definitely not going to be welcomed here, but the Toyota engines, the Nissan engines, the Chrysler engines. I want to do a Hemi. I want to do a Coyote. We want to expand our efforts on the 6-cylinder Atlas. Looks like you're going to burst if you don't ask the question that's on your mind.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just trying to I have a few comments lined up, but I'm being patient.
Roll.
Okay. Matt said, I'll give you my K truck to put a TDI in. That would be fun. Long-term dream when it dies. He has his K truck? Have you seen his K truck?
I'm going to say no because
it's the coolest thing.
Okay.
Do you know what a K truck is?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm feeling like a big dummy here. Thank you very much.
It's one of these. It's like the coolest thing ever.
Is that one of those little tiny trucks? Yeah, okay. I know what those are.
Guys. Yeah. He has one of them.
Okay.
It has the tipper bed, right? It can do the right? I think yours has that. It's the coolest thing. Yeah. Sorry.
Put a blown Hemi in the thing and
there
do burnouts for distance.
There you go. Put a Hayabusa engine in or something. Yeah. More gooder. Yes. More gooder.
Yeah.
It's a technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's all watching the Sick Summer?
Yeah.
And shaking their head going how sick we both are with the fact that you work so hard to get that helmet, and the quickest car in the class this year is running 10s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a little...
That's a pill hard to swallow.
I mean, hey, that guy's there. He's doing the thing. He deserves it. But,
Yep. They got rained out. They're living through that. They're going from day to day.
He's doing the thing. He deserves it.
We've lived those realities. Sitting in a car all day to get rained out and then have to drive at night in the rain, and those drag and drive events, if you haven't done it, they are brutally difficult when you're having challenges, and they're one of the most satisfying things to do. It's Calvin did a couple great videos on our adventures there, and every one of them leads to incredible memories that you get to carry forward. And one of our hopes was to get back and defend his title, and we made the decision not to do. That's right. I'm telling you, I'm feeling left out here.
We want some hats too.
True, very true. And that's when this Talon gets done, we're probably not gonna win a class with that, but we should be able to get a hat. As soon as the word Godzilla came up, she got all grumpy. I'm thinking that this is a
Godzilla.
All right. What other questions or comments? Okay, the 6.4 Hemi. We're actually going to start with a 5.7 Hemi. We want to do something that's relatable for folks with the tighter budgets, obviously, you know, our channel here has been heavily focused on the budget type stuff, and that's the 6.4 is coming down in price. I would actually rather do a 6.1 or a 6.2 with the shorter crank. The 6.4 has a longer crank. But yeah, it'll be a little while before we would do a 6.4 Hemi. We're gonna do a 5.7. Hopefully by sick week next year we'll have a package together, and if not, then we'll focus for another drag and drive. We want to look at doing the what's that called, sick on the green. We want to try and make it to that next year.
I think Sixth the Rock is a little closer. We may want to look at
It
that
should
one.
be a lot closer,
Yeah,
because
that's maybe. Or are they still doing that? That's
don't know. I haven't seen anything on that, but sick on the green obviously has some
right.
attraction because it's Bowling Green.
Yeah.
I mean, how does it get any more cool than wood stands with covers on them, and you know the territory that covers, and the Corvette Museum just down the road. That's a bucket list race.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Hopefully we can get there for LS Fest this year. That would be cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw somebody leave a comment. He said, if you guys start doing plain Jane, big block, and Hemi swaps, I don't know if I can keep following the channel.
Yeah, that was disappointing here, but I'm sure that we could come up with a different flavor to it that would attract
right,
them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. we'll make it interesting.
Yeah. Gonna make my head hurt. That's what we're gonna do.
2 spark plugs a cylinder can get expensive with cold NGKs. Yeah, you're telling me. Yeah, I think they're
sponsors are welcome.
Yeah, are they? Do you know what kind of plug they take? If it's like a gasket style or
large by
do you know
expensive.
If it's the 1 inch?
I have no idea.
Okay, because if it's the 1 inch ones, those are even worse.
Yeah,
those are so expensive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all I know is they're large by expensive.
Yeah. Overbuild Automotive gave a donation. He said, Calvin and Dad, here is a coin or 2 for cat treats. Yes, you hear that, Hobbs? She's not looking at us. She's literally just mad. She's got her back to us. She's just like, she's got her ears turned back towards us, but she ain't looking at us. She's just like,
Fabrice, you want to get on the screen here?
Don't talk to me. She wants to go outside. That's what she actually wants.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There must have been a bird outside the window tormenting her.
Yeah, there's this puddle outside my one window, and the birds come down, and they come and they wash themselves in the puddle. It's like the most adorable thing ever. But my cat sits at the window and just
anger management.
She just sits there. She's like, I won't hurt you. I promise. I just want to say hi. It's gonna be okay.
Thank you, Overbuild Automotive.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, any specific questions that folks love the VK content? Yeah. That's
I don't think we actually
to get back to it.
I don't think we actually answered the guy's question on like if we have $5,000 to spend on a VK.
Okay, so
we do rods.
We're doing
pistons,
the rods. We're doing the pistons.
We're doing main studs. We're probably going to do head studs
and ported the heads.
And we did ported heads.
We're going to be at $5,000, like right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it depends who's doing the work, of course, but yeah, you're pretty close to $5,000. I was trying to get some cams lined up. I need to follow up on that. But we're thinking about just running the factory cams because they've been performing so well in the Futura. So
the VVT really spiced that whole thing up. That or the first engine was a piece of crap, but I still think it was the VVT. Because it's running similar ET, similar mile an hour, with 8 less pounds of boost.
Yeah, if we could have a package exactly like what was in the Futura, but something that'll take 30 pounds of boost for extended periods of time. Like that Talon should be light enough that it, 1,000 wheel horsepower should do some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I would say if I had $5,000 to spend, I would say rods, pistons, and then upgraded studs. Yeah, I think that's a good upgrade list.
Are you still doing the 5-cylinder project?
Yes.
Okay.
So
where's that going to go?
Well, I want to continue to develop the 5-cylinder that's in my wagon. Unfortunately, it lost, or the oil pressure was not keeping up the last time that I drove it. It was only making like 20 pounds of oil pressure at 7,000 plus RPM. So I need to diagnose why it's doing that. I think that the regulator in the pump might be stuck because it makes pressure at low engine speeds, but it's only when it heats up and the oil gets some temperature to it that it seems to have an issue.
And it's inconsistent. It comes back.
Yeah, it's kind of, it is kind of inconsistent. I don't know. I need to tear, it's not like the engine's like knocking or like doesn't seem to have any
power.
Doesn't have excessive
it's not the gauge
clearance. Yeah, it's definitely not
that
the
was
gauge.
The first thing that he checked is that because the thing runs too good to be broken.
Yeah, I thought maybe the accumulator was doing something stupid. I valved that off so it was completely eliminated from the system. That didn't make any difference. So I think it's just stuck. The pressure regulator and the oil pump stuck. I tried some Stiction Eliminator from Hot Shot Secrets. That didn't do it, but I talked to the guys over there and they actually said that the Stiction Eliminator might not be the one that I should go for. Because that's more of a gradual thing. Like you might need to drive it for a couple 100 miles for that to really start to take effect. They actually recommended their tick fix. So it's a little thinner. It gets into the cavities or whatever, breaks up the hydrocarbons or whatever. And not hydrocarbons, whatever. I don't know. So I think I have some of that. They might have sent me some of that, so
yeah, I was thinking something dumb.
What? Just put it on the limiter for 5 minutes and
no. Do we want to just tear everything down and go back into it? Maybe get some cams ground, but put it into the Green Nova. You don't have to answer that. It's just something that popped into my head.
I have some thoughts and directions that I want. Yeah, okay. See, this guy, Crackhead. See, Crackhead, me and Crackhead, we're on the same page. Aren't you proud of me, Dad?
Oh my gosh. All-wheel drive conversation again. Okay.
So I want to do an all-wheel drive 5-cylinder at some point. So that's where I want to do the next 5-cylinder build. And I don't know if that's going to be in the wagon or if that's going to be, somewhere else. But yes, I'd like to do an all-wheel drive 5-cylinder just for the, fun of it. So yeah, I would almost like to tear apart my wagon, just pull the engine out, figure out what's wrong with it. If it's eating a bearing or something, fix it. But maybe put that on the shelf for the all-wheel drive build, and then just put a 3.7 in it. Just put a stock. I'm not gonna be making the power that requires a forged bottom end anymore with that for the foreseeable future, especially with the AR5. So I'm thinking, maybe just throw a 3.7 at it. Everybody's always like, "What about the 3.7?" So I could tell you guys about the 3.7.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue I have with that is, you got to do the balance shaft delete and all the stuff. It's it's going to take me a solid week, probably. Well, maybe not a week, but I'd like to do it. I'm working on it. So,
somebody asked about a V6 on the radar. Yes.
Yeah. I am split between, for V6 content, you guys have heard me say many negative things about the V6, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Okay, all right. So there's two V6s that I would consider, and one is it's the LC3. No, it's the 4.3, the Gen 5 LT based, 4.3 liter V6. I would consider that one. Or I would consider like a 3.6 liter out of like the Malibus, Envoys, that kind of stuff. The modern high feature V6. Those really didn't seem to get a ton of love. And they did do a twin turbo version of them. But
Mikey. Hey, Mikey.
hey, Mikey, how's it going?
And let's give a shout out to Robert.
Yeah, Robert Johnson, thank you for the donation. Very appreciated. Mikey says 1957 Chevy, big block Chevy with twin turbos. We'll see about that.
Wait a minute. We got that 8.1 sitting out there.
Yeah,
we got twins in the basement.
Shh. Can't tell them all our secrets.
Oh, you're killing me.
Do you think some of the Hot V header tricks could make the inline 5 sound even better? No, I mean we're already applying the rotationally timed pulses into the exhaust collector on that project. So the only thing I would really see as an improvement on that would be to redo the manifold. We had to do all those pie cuts, which I complained about. It would be nice to maybe get closer to an equal length setup on that project. So yeah, that's I could see maybe that improving the sound. I mean, I'm happy with the sound. Like, it sounds pretty cool. So
yeah, but if you could optimize the header and minimize the bends and all that kind of stuff,
yep.
All of a sudden the Nova makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm.
Well, if we're gonna do, okay. Well, so Cletus McFarland recently converted his mullet to big tire.
Yeah.
And seeing that thing run has been like massively inspiring.
Oh my gosh, it's like he went back to his roots.
Yeah, and like it's like I want to build a chassis car with a 4200.
I do too.
And like I feel like that, and if we like tube the front or something, like, see, I know how to. I'm a good sales guy.
I'm being manipulated.
Okay, there we go. LV3, yes, the LV3. That's the V6. That, yeah. What about a GTR V6? I would love to try one. They're not cheap. That's, if you guys notice with the channel, we tend to do projects where you can pick up an engine for less than $1,000. Like, if you have to spend more than $1,000 on a junkyard example, it's just
not us.
It's just not us, and like I feel like you guys can't really identify with it either. Like it's just painful when you blow one up. It's like,
yeah,
oh, okay, go get another $500 engine, $200, whatever,
yeah.
Whereas if it's like a $1,500 engine and they're hard to find at that price, it's like, yeah.
So did I hear 8.1? Yes. And,
yep.
That's one I'm super excited about because obviously I've got a lot of background history with the big blocks, and we picked one up. We've got a complete one that we picked up for $250, and then picked up another one for $400. So we've got two 8.1s sitting there to start working on, and that will eventually come to the surface. But order of go is obviously going to be Hot V. We got to get the VK done. We got to get the North Star done. We're going to get the Hemi done, and we want to do the Land Speed project. So I can't retire early enough, can I?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get out of where I'm at, and I want to get to work in the garage. I'm telling you, we got a lot of fun projects planned. But going back to your budget comment, we want to stay true to the roots. We want to stay focused on what got us here, and that has always been the low buck racing. We were one of the many. Past events that was special to us was to participate in the Grassroots Motorsports Challenge last year. Putting the Sunbird together on a budget was certainly something that matched our style, and we know that that's consistent with some of our viewing audience. What a lot of you folks have expressed your greater interest in being, and the 8.1 being so cheap is offering a lot of connections to the fuel injection that you like, the big block that I like, the 57 Chevy that I love. So we get to scratch a lot of itches with that.
Pete Ardema, I think is his name, built a big block Chevy with custom direct injection, all the bells and whistles, and cam control for his C8 Corvette. Took him a few years. It's running and driving now. Yeah, I've seen that project. That thing is crazy. Like, that thing's super cool. How sick would log exhaust manifolds sound connecting in 180 fashion on a hot VLS? You're essentially describing like a dual plenum intake. That's kind of like a log manifold. So you'd have two logs and you'd have to crisscross them to do one. I
don't know.
I'm not sure.
That young fella that had sent you the message.
Yeah, well, that one,
he's got his put together.
Yep. Yeah, there's actually somebody who has been messaging me recently. He actually started doing a Hot V project. I wish I knew his username because I would plug him.
I had him on here earlier today.
Let me see if I can.
What a great kid!
Yeah, he's a cool kid.
He's just doing you can hear the nature of him just in his in how he talks. We both really like this young man.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer this question for you. Is the North Star 57 your current favorite project? No.
Which one? The North Star 57?
Yeah, the North Star. It's Eric Wilson asked.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I like, obviously...
Once it's done, he'll probably love
once it's done, I'm probably going to fall in love with it. But right now, it's
Rust Repair
kind of
sucks.
a bear. Rust Repair is worse. Okay, look up at Lion Slide. Lion Slide, as it's spelled, on TikTok. He's doing a Hot V, LT heads on a LS block, just like we're doing. He seems like a super cool kid. So
yeah, what a delight! And if you leave a comment, just tell him we sent you.
Yeah, he seems like a super cool cat. So, okay. I thought I saw another one. Oh, LFX is super cheap. Yes, and I happen to possibly own one. I'll leave that there.
You never finished the V6 comments, so you talked about the
LV3.
And you did. Yeah, sorry.
That's the LFX.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm break dead. I don't know all this alphabet soup crap.
It's okay.
It's an 8.1. It's not a what the heck? I don't even know what they call those pieces of junk.
What, the 3.6?
No, the 8.1s.
Oh.
Big turd.
I mean, the Vortec 8100. I don't know what the L whatever. Yeah, I don't even know what that would be.
I'm sure your 8.1 video will be more entertaining than mine. We don't know, but we could definitely line them up at some point and capture that on a video.
How about going Boosted Boys K engine? I would love to try one, but it's
That's not one of those spinning Dorito things, is it?
No, it's not a rotary.
Okay.
It's a
Because I
K24.
still have standards here.
Okay. All right. Naturally aspirated hot V log exhaust manifold connecting in 180 pulse. Thoughts? Yeah, so I don't know if the log is the way I would go with that.
Nah.
Because that's the part I'm stuck on. But if you wanted to do 180 dual collector, I think that would be cool. But the log, that's the part that I was hesitating with earlier. Proud of your innovation, Calvin and family. Hope to see you do a free valve LS someday. Yeah, that would be neat. I know there was a guy who did a free valve lawnmower engine that I watched like a couple years ago, I think. He did a pneumatic valve, like a pneumatic actuator on a valve, and he had it all controlled with like a Arduino or something. And that's essentially what that is. When they say free valve, it's the Koenigsegg. I think it's Koenigsegg's. They have it's a Coyote. Well, sorry, no, it's a earlier mod engine, like a 5.4 or something, but they put their own cylinder heads on it, and they don't have cams. They have a pneumatic actuator on the valve, and I think it's pneumatic. I don't know. And you could essentially dial in your own cam profile, whatever you want it to be. You just set up your own little cam profile, and
it's probably hydraulic, not pneumatic.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that would be neat, but
Michael Blacktree, yeah, that Skoogan Dickey project, that 1400 horsepower V6, that was cool. Yeah, we've had our eyes on those engines for a while. We want to do one. Calvin had one for a while, but it made more sense to sell it at the time and help pay some bills. So that was the right choice at that time. But a 3.8 V6, no, we haven't really looked into one of those. We've been more focused on the two Chevrolet variants, the 4.3 and the 3.6. Not to say that we wouldn't do the 3.8, but there's a lot of other engines out there that I want to try out. And there's got to be something similar to like a V6 version of the VK that I would love to see if there's something out there like that, because the VK has definitely impressed me with its structural attributes being so in line with being able to make big power, that if there was another engine of similar architecture but a V6, I think that would be really exciting to find something that's less than four liters and try and build something to go land speed racing with.
Yeah, I just feel like the 3.8's just such an archaic. I mean, people go really, really fast with them, but like it's just old, and like I feel like going to a Gen 5, architecture engine is just so much more advantageous. But the weird thing is with those 4.3s, you cannot find them for a reasonable price. At least I've not been able to find them. You can find Gen 5 5.3 liters for like $300, like all the time. But you cannot find one of those LV3s for like less than $1,500. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. It's like, why are these bringing so much money? I mean, maybe they just didn't make as many. I guess that's probably why. But
Robert Johnson, we thank you for that $5, and certainly every bit counts. We've come a long way in a short amount of time, and we're excited about the future, and we're glad that we have so many members that have gotten on board with the channel. And this is not a membership drive. This is just opening it up to all the folks who watch the channel, and then there'll be more members only content, and that's not to exclude anybody from this, but mixing it up to something that makes sense for us, being able to answer questions and do things. I don't know if you want to expand upon that, but there's a lot of opportunities to try various things to try and help the channel to grow, and the ultimate goal is to be able to continue to build content that you guys find interesting, and we don't want to get bogged down in some of the silly stuff that we see some of the other channels doing. That we want to stay true to our roots.
Yep. Yeah, Mark just posted the link to Lion Slide. Go check him out. He's a cool guy. He seems like a really, really good, wholesome dude. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lots of comments, but not a lot of questions.
VQ40 in Frontier, Xterra, etc. I didn't know that they made a. So is that a 4-valve engine? So it's a 4-liter V6 that is similar to the VK. That sounds interesting. I know
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't sound like a VQ35. That's the only caveat there.
Well, somebody did comment VQ35 and 37.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which they're decent engines. It's just, man, do they sound bad. But you can make them sound decent. I've seen a couple people build exhaust manifolds for them, and I mean, if you do a 6-into-1 collector, it's going to sound like an inline 6. So, like, that would be a good way to solve that one. But
there's a V6 version of the North Star.
Yeah, the Short Star.
The Short Star.
Yeah, that's what they always call it.
That
the
sounds
short
like a
star.
big headache.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
I bet that thing shakes.
I mean, it shouldn't be any worse than anything else. I mean,
yeah, but you got a 90 degree.
Yeah, it's no different than the. I mean,
is
I
it
wonder
odd
if it's
fire?
Split pin. I don't know. I don't know if it's odd fire, if it's a split pin, or if it's. Yeah, I just know they call it the Short Star. That's all I know about it.
I've never even heard of one.
Yeah. Not exactly similar, but 4-valve. Nissan. Okay. I'll have to look into that because I bet they aren't expensive because they came in Armadas and stuff. I bet people don't want very much for them because they're the VKs aren't very expensive. So I imagine the V6 version of the same vehicle probably isn't very expensive either.
Do they use a 3/4 race cab?
3/4 race cab?
Yeah, the V6.
I guess. I don't know.
Mikey wants to see a 4-second pass. Mikey will be the first person to see us make a 4-second pass.
Probably. Yeah.
Because that is our favorite track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to. I want to get the red car up there, and man, Forza is going to be asking a lot out of that little 6-cylinder. And I know the 2JZ guys do it like it's nothing, but
I still think we can put more gear in it and just make it an 8th mile car.
Yeah, but I want to get it ready for sick week, and that's 1/4 mile. So
yeah, okay. Gotta go 4s, go 7s.
Yeah. Well, you could go low 5 and still get there. But
fine.
Yes,
I'll go 4s first.
Yeah, you can go 4s in the Talon, and then you can be the fastest again. There you go.
Hey. I still am the fastest. You're just the quickest.
Okay. There you go. I hope the Mopar build, you can get it to not have hollow sound the exhaust note has with all their V8s. Reminds me of 80s V6 Camaro. Yeah, that's probably more RPM than anything, right?
No. I would bet that's got more to do with the exhaust itself. But
which we have some plans there.
Yeah, we got some Yeah, we've got some illusions that we're going to
Yep.
create a
Create
grand
our own headaches.
recipe.
Yep. Hi guys, enjoying the channel, wondering if there is a plan to do a Atlas 2.9. Apologies if you already did or I missed it. We actually talked about that earlier. We plan to do a 2.8 actually. So yeah, but yes, there are plans. Toyota V6 from a Camry, cheap and common, also used in Lotus, or the Ford Ecotec V6. Cheers from Australia. I'd have to look into them. Right now, I'm really liking the VK that we've been messing with. So, yeah, I'd have to look into it. If it had like roller followers and that kind of stuff, I'd definitely consider it. You know, I definitely think roller follower dual overhead cam engines are superior, which, you know, the VKs are not, but I don't know. I feel like the high feature V6 is kind of the way to go.
Well, some of the power that folks are getting out of those things, that still, in my opinion, would be a better choice for the all-wheel drive project, just because it's so stubby.
Yeah,
in
but
length.
all-wheel drive 5's on there. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be so easy.
Check out the nerd.
Mm-hmm.
4.6 Navigator, haven't even considered that a possibility. No interest on my end.
Yeah, not really. I mean,
I'd rather do a Coyote.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, Coyote's like a mature version of a modular engine. I'm
excited to get the North Star running, and which it's, you know, obviously it's a 4.6 as well. But I don't know, for whatever reason, the like the 4-valve modular Ford stuff just doesn't really, and there's not really anybody doing anything super impressive. Like the Coyote has just overshadowed them massively, and I'd rather.
And it should.
Yeah, I'd rather just go
the
with
little
Coyote.
bit that we've looked at the things. That is a good engine.
Mm-hmm.
There is, that is a good choice for an engine. There's no denying that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
did you solve the 8 HP issue? Is it as simple as a 2-piece drive shaft with CV yoke on the trans? We haven't solved it. You know, we think we have some good plans for going forward, but we haven't actually tested them. But yeah, I think I would say the stronger, like I would more strongly push for not going into 6th gear as being the solution to that problem.
Now, have you looked at the upgraded bearing, and what do you see in that upgrade?
Yeah, I mean, the Torque and Tungsten guys, I'm pretty sure that they had the upgraded bearing. They have all the billet stuff, all the, like, they have it's a $12,000 transmission.
Whoa.
And they still blew it up.
Ooh.
Because they went into 6th gear and they revved it out. And, you know, I think the issue is 6th gear. But, yeah, hard to say.
How much of that is engine RPM versus drive shaft RPM? And that's a leading question.
No, they are
the
only
reason
going to
I asked that is because Bailey is going in the 6th gear on the Duster.
Yeah.
But he's barely touching it 6th gear.
Yeah, which they're only revving to 6,500. The Torque and Tungsten guys.
Oh.
Yeah, the Hurricanes, I mean, I guess, I don't know if they don't like to rev or the way it's cammed, it doesn't like to rev, but they're only going to 6,500.
Now, so, did they get the 1,000 horsepower version or the 500 horsepower?
I think they have the 1,000 horsepower version.
Wow, and they're making 1,000 horsepower with 3 liters and not revving it out.
I don't think they're making 1,000 horsepower, but
that's what Dodge advertises them at.
Yeah, but I mean, you can make 1,000 horsepower with anything at any.
Or is that Mopar power?
Careful.
Yeah. 15 people just unsubscribed.
Yeah. Oh no, our views. Coyote is twin K series. Yeah, I've heard people say that that the Coyote is very similar to the K series. Cylinder heads are larger than a big block. Better flow, some air. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would hope so. The part, something that makes me nervous about the North Star is the cam control. I hope that it controls, it has stable control. Like, I've been very impressed with the problem with GM engines and VVT control on them is they don't have dedicated feeds going to the camshaft sprocket for the VVT. They usually take one of the journals on the cam bearing and they feed oil off of that and then send that into the cam, the actuator. And that's kind of a compromised system. It's not really the best for like really good stable control. Now the VK, like what we have in the Futura now with the intake VVT, that has been dead solid. Like, that camshaft does exactly what I tell it to do, and that's because it has a dedicated feed going to the VVT actuator. So something I'm nervous about with the North Star is now we have 4 of these compromised VVT feeds. I hope that I can get good, stable control of the variable valve timing on that. And something that attracts me to the Coyote, the reason I thought of this when I was reading your comment, was it seems like the Coyote guys have that pretty well locked down on having good, stable control. I'd love to know how they do their VVT control, if it's a dedicated oil feed to the VVT system, or if it's like the GM style where it has it comes off one of the cam bearings. So, sorry, nerd moment.
Stage Racing made a comment, and I want to make sure we circle back to that. We don't begrudge anybody that runs the mod motors. As a matter of fact, we support all forms of racing and everybody that's willing to dedicate time to it. We're nerdy enough to do a 6-cylinder, but I want to make sure that I don't convey the wrong thing when I say that I don't have an interest in doing the mod motor. That I have any issue with the mod motor, other than as we get into new platforms, it just makes sense for us to be more focused on something that's more either current or more junkyard based. And while there's plenty of mod motors in the junkyard, that's just not one that I'm attracted to.
Yeah, I mean, they have spark plug issues, I thought, or maybe that's
some of the early ones, and there's a remedy for that.
Yeah, and there's lots of, obviously every platform has its issues, but It's just like, if we're going to get into something like that, where we got to figure out the transmission situation and all that kind of stuff, why not get into the Coyote? It's just...
Yep. We had a 4.6 out here for quite a while, and we explored options on that long enough to realize that we weren't going to take that path, and we ended up selling that off, and I think that was the right choice.
Yeah.
Well, what were some of your questions that you were thinking of? And if you don't have one, I got one for you.
Well, Matt said maybe new Holley hardware can do 4 cams. That would be cool. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the control side that I'm worried about. I think it's the physical oil feed side. Like, it's a mechanical limitation of the system, because we've had some issues with that, like with the 4200s in the past, where the cam control sometimes gets a little wonky, and now we have 4 of them. Yeah, so that's I don't think it's necessarily the control side, but hearing that Holley might be doing 4 cam control is very, very interesting to me.
That's cool. We also, to elaborate on that, oil temperature has proven to be a very, very important variable to pay attention to on the VVT.
Yeah, but that VK just does not care.
That it doesn't, but just sharing some of the trials that we've gone through on the Atlas, the oil temperature has been a variable that, after realizing that had such a negative influence on its control, you've spent way more time paying attention to that, so that if we see something out of whack,
Yeah.
that's the first place you're looking, and there's a direct correlation to poor performance
Yeah.
and oil temperature.
Yeah, I mean, it was the very first engine that GM did variable valve timing on. So, like, they probably learned a couple things as time went on. Matt just sent me a picture of his cat looking out the window. That's funny. He knows. Oh, yeah, something I wanted to... yeah. So, yeah, we mentioned the lack of the lack of stability there with oil temperature. One of the things that like I've really enjoyed with the VK is it's like that is like the Honey Badger engine. It just doesn't care. Like that thing, it makes 90 pounds of oil pressure, whether it just chucked a rod or it didn't just chuck a rod, or whether the oil's hot, the oil's cold. It idles at 800 RPM. It doesn't care. It will idle at 800 RPM at 17 to 1 AFR or 10 to 1 AFR. It just sits there and just goes brrr.
At 160 foots on 2 pounds of boost at launch.
And like the VVT, it doesn't matter if the oil is hot, cold. You tell it to go there, it goes there. It does the thing. That is like it. I'm so impressed with the VK. So I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in there. All right, you had a question for me.
What's been your favorite project that you've done on the channel?
I don't know. They all have their struggles because, like, I mean, with every project, you get to the point where it gets to the point where it just becomes a slog, and you get.
That's your personality. Every job's been like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think everybody, like, tell me in the comments. I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. But, like, I don't know. There's, like, for me, it's like the project's, like, new and exciting. And you go through this phase of, like, kind of like, oh, yes, sunshines and daisies and whatever. And you're like, oh, this is so cool. I can't wait to hear it running. And then, like, that kind of wears off by, like, week 2. And you're like, okay,
what was I thinking?
How am I gonna wire this? Like, and like, where am I gonna run that tube? And I gotta make a stupid bracket to do that. And then like you kind of like go through this like slump where it just sucks, and then like you start to come back up once it's getting close to running, and then it's like, then once you're done, you're like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. So like, because like when you ask me that question, I remember all the times where like, because they all get to like the red car, like I'm really proud of how that came out, but like there was a period of time where I was like, man, this sucks. I just can't stand working on it anymore. And like my Studebaker, like, that's still like one of my favorite cars. I wish it was, still here, but like, it had moments like that where it was just like, sometimes it was just like, this thing sucks. Why won't it make any horsepower? Like, I remember like, there were many years with the 6-cylinder where I was like, this is so stupid. Like, why do we do this? Like, why don't I just put an LS in this thing and go make some power? Like,
I remember those comments.
Yeah. But like, you push through them and then you get through it and you're like, okay, no, this is kind of cool. This was worth it. But they all get to those type of... So, like, to say your like, the Trailblazer, that was painful. I don't know. They all have a certain amount of pain, but, like, I'm trying to think of, like, any that, like, just...
So what's your favorite part of this whole endeavor? The automotive, YouTube... Everything combined, what's your favorite part of this whole thing?
I would say like problem solving, because like when you solve the problem and like you learn something and like, I don't know. I think problem solving, like the aha moment, that's very intoxicating, I guess. I like to come up with creative ideas, and then when they work out and everything, like you have this idea in your head and it's been swimming around in there for years, and you're like, oh, this is going to be cool, and then you do it, and sometimes it sucks and it takes longer than you wanted it to, but then you get to the end and it's like, ha, I told you. It's yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like, my favorite.
For me, it's easy. It's all the adventures at the track.
Yeah.
Seeing you run your first 10, watching you run your first, well, I was side by side with you, your first 11, seeing your first 9, watching you get your license, watching you win the helmet. Those things are great, but I also have so many of my own memories that have made it great over the years. When we won the challenge, and going down the track, we had to weld broken parts together, and as soon as we got done welding them together, I'm putting on my fire jacket and jumping in the car, and you drop the jack, and I go racing through the pits and get into the staging lanes and set the record pass for the event. And there's so many incredible memories at the track. The track is my favorite part. Watching you run that 9, I gotta sound like a blooming idiot the way I yell and scream after you make passes half the time. And it was fun to watch the Talon video and reliving some of the memories there. I bet they thought I was on fire or something, the way I was hooting and hollering when you ran that 9 in the Talon. And those are my favorite parts of the racing thing.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just hard for me to, like, think back on those projects and not think of, like, all the times where it sucked. And it just, like, the Talent in particular, like, that had, like, 2 years of suck.
Oh, that cubic suck.
And, like, I guess I would say my Studebaker probably, just because it had the longest duration and it had a lot of high moments. And, I hope we can get there with a few other projects like my 57. I hope we can, I hope that sticks around for a little longer than the Stu did, and we can make some really fun memories with that one. I guess I like that one the most because it had so many different flavors. It was LS, sorry, it was small block, then it was LS, then it was 4200, and then it was LT, and it had so many, and then the LT had, naturally aspirated, and it had supercharged. Like, I had all these fun memories, and that, like, I don't know, I just like doing that. I like taking the same car that I have experience with, and then, like, okay, take the engine out, put another one in it, and do something else cool. Like, and, like, for whatever reason, no other car has been as fun as that one has been.
I understand.
Whereas, like, because I've tried to do that with the wagon, and it's just not as fun.
Yeah.
It's just, it just doesn't hit the same, and it's like, we're building the 57, and I'm like, but, like, I would hate to take that North Star out of it and put something else in it. I would never even dream to do that. Whereas my Studebaker was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's stick a...
That's why my 56 was.
Yeah.
I had a steel front end. I had a fiberglass front end. I had a tilt front end. I had a small block. I had a big block. I had an automatic. I had 4-speed. Yeah. It was my first 9-inch that I ever put together was in that car. And I remember tearing it apart one time, and I was looking at all the drill holes of different things that I had mounted to the firewall, and it made me smile to remember that, oh, that hole was an oops. I drilled it in the wrong spot. Oh, I remember when I put that part on there. Yeah. So, yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I remember, when I did the LT and the Stu, there were, like, just bullet holes, not bullet holes, but tons of holes in the inside of the car. From, like, oh, I used to have my fuse panel mounted here and my ECU mounted there, and but then when it had the LS, it had an MSD, one of the 6 LS boxes, and it was mounted here, and, like, it was just going through years, and and I used to have a quarter stick in it. Then I put the then I put the
Hurst.
no, I had a ratchet shifter. Then I put the quarter stick in it. Then and then we went to stick, and then it's just it had so many different combinations in it. It was just like, because I was going through and I was welding all those holes shut because I wanted to clean it up a little bit, and but I don't know. I guess that it would be that one, and I wish it would come home, but
It will.
you know.
We're gonna get that back.
Yeah, I've had stupid, like, there's times where I've like tried to find another one because like I just feel like but it just wouldn't be the same, It just
Yep.
we would have to do everything that we had done to that one again, and like it just wouldn't be the same. It just, I don't know. It just sucks.
Well, I still see another 56 coming home, and we're gonna find that lark someday.
Yeah, I hope that the 57 grows to something that's, but I can't ever see taking the North Star out of it. Like, I want it to be.
After you blow the third one up, we'll be having a different conversation.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah. VK. It's time to put a VK in it.
No, we'll put the Coyote in the 57 and really piss off the
There we
purists.
go. I mean, maybe, I guess we got to get it done first.
Come on, we could really piss people off.
Yeah.
The Ford and the Chevy guys could all be mad at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would say my Studebaker, but yeah.
Welcome back, Overbuilt.
Yeah. So Matt said, "Tell people how good DT stuff is." Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's the Deutsch connector stuff. Very good. Yeah, if you guys are doing wiring, you should get Deutsch connectors. They will change your life. And you might be like, "Oh, it's kind of expensive." It's worth it. Tell people not to hang 10 things on a single battery terminal. What? Nah, it's fine.
Hey, sleeper dude.
Yeah, if you smell burning wires, don't worry about it. Just turn the radio up or something, right? What do you think of Turbo 2500s? Because Matt has a Turbo 2500, like a Silverado 2500. I think they're cool.
I don't even know what that is.
Like a truck, like a 2500 HD, or he has a 2500 HD with a turbo.
Okay.
Like LS. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does burnouts.
I thought you meant like 2500, like a 2.5 liter.
No.
I'm thinking, man, we're going in the wrong direction with size there.
Yeah. Yep. I do have a 2.5 liter. Iron Duke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Our Iron Duke's a 3 liter, though.
No. It's a 2.5. It's half a 5 liter.
Okay.
4x3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. 3 liter stuff.
How's it going, sleeper dude? You're welcome. I glad you enjoy them. All right.
Yeah, Robert. It's the Studebaker. We knew that one hurt, and we chose to forgive. We chose to recognize that we needed to move on. And when we left the parking lot, as painful as it was, we made a decision as a family. It's not going to define us. We're not going to. We will not be those people. We will push forward. We have prayed that the people that stole that will have a change in their lifestyle and choices, and we don't harbor anger towards them. We're not happy with what happened, but we won't let it define us. So
yeah. I mean, my thought process for like when it happened, it was just sad. It was just, I wasn't mad. I wasn't, it was just disappointing. It was just like, like I don't know what this person's life was like that led them to make those choices to be a thief. It's I think it's wrong. If they get caught, they should be punished, but like that's not up to me. Like that's kind of been my thought process through the entire thing. Like some people, they get mad about that kind of stuff. Like to me it's just like, man, like it just sucks. Like it's just like, if I got to meet the person face to face that like was the thief, like I would just be like, I don't know. I would just be like, dude, I don't know what you went through to make you have to do that, but like, it's just,
There's better choices.
if they were to like say, hey, here's all your stuff back. Sorry, like I wouldn't, there wouldn't be any revenge.
No.
It would just be like, hey, thanks. I wish they would just abandon it on the side of the road so that it would get recovered and we could bring it home. But
Yep.
it's just is what it is. Matt said, can't hold the hate. Yeah, it's just, it takes a lot of energy to hate somebody, and you just got to let it go. It's just,
Yep.
It just sucks,
Yep. There's too many good things out there. We need to stay focused on them. In this world of crazy, there's a lot of reason to be able to allow yourself to get distracted by the negative, but when you slow down enough to look at the positive, there's a lot of good things happening in this world, and you have to choose to look at the positives, because so many people, so many influences try to drive you into the ground to stare at the negative.
Yep. Sleeper Dude has a question for you.
Okay, let it rip.
How fast have you went with a stock case Powerglide?
A stock case Powerglide. I can tell you that 155 miles an hour we blew one up.
That's what I was referring to.
Oh my word. We blew up a Powerglide so bad that David Freiberger sat in our trailer and watched Calvin and Cameron pulled the transmission out of the car and took pictures of it and put a picture of our blown up Powerglide in Hot Rod Magazine. That thing was blown up at an epic level. That thing blew up so bad. The front of it broke off, the back of it broke off, and the center of the transmission spun inside the transmission tunnel to the point where it pulled the cable right out of the shifter. Mm-hmm. That thing blew up bad. But successfully stock I would have to say probably in the 150 mile an hour range. I've probably gone with a stock case. But yeah, the broken one at 155 when that thing came apart, it was funny. So I'm making a pass and I'm coming through and that thing comes apart. And I mean, it came apart. And as stupid as this sounds, I'm in a 5-point harness and I am cinched in tighter than, you couldn't pull the belts any tighter, and I'm trying to get away from this thing because I could see all these dents and stuff and things in the. You could tell something bad was happening right there, and the transmission was right beside my knee, and I'm doing everything I can to try and get away from a car that's going 150 miles an hour. I wish a camera was inside that because that would have been more funny to watch than a barrel of monkeys. And oh my word, I was glad when that car came to a stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only blown up first, thank you, Matt, for the donation. That's very kind of you.
Thank you. Yep.
But I've only blown up one Yeah, it was just the VK. Well, I broke a drive shaft. That's right.
You broke my Turbo 400 in the Camaro.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Oil the whole way down
Yeah.
Cecil County. They thought that he was dead because he wouldn't get off the track.
Yeah, well, I was trying to.
They were convinced he was knocked out.
Yeah. I should have stopped. I know, but like I was like, well, if I make the mess down here, it's gonna be better. But it was all right. But the VK, I stopped immediately.
Yes.
So
Lessons learned.
yes. Sleeper Dude says, "What do you think the limit of a stock Vortec 4200 block is?"
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
The blocks don't appear to be the weak link.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen, like on my Camaro, we haven't seen elevated coolant pressure. We haven't seen elevated crankcase pressure. You would see elevated crankcase pressure because the sleeves were starting to balloon, and you would see excessive blow-by because of that, and you would see the coolant pressure start to go up because the block is twisting and the head gasket isn't able to stay sealed up. And we haven't seen sign of those at 1,000 wheel horsepower. So what I think the limit would be, it's going to be one of those two things. It's going to be either it's going to start twisting the block enough that the head gasket's going to start blowing, or it's going to fail a sleeve because they're not the most substantial things. So,
yeah, we've put enough passes on the 4200 in the yellow car that we think we may see for the first time a hint of a head gasket leak in that one.
Yeah,
but we're not sure. That one's going to get diagnosed.
Yeah, I'm still questioning that one, whether that was maybe an assembly issue, but yeah.
Definitely interested overbuilt and Barger maintenance. Yeah, I'm glad you do. My wife, she finds us barely tolerable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sleeper Dude, how's that Pinto? Yeah, we want to know too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool to see him collaborate with what is that, Hot Rod Order?
I love that series of videos. I like both of those guys. That's a lot of fun to watch those two. But Tommy is one of my favorite YouTubers, and to watch him get that Henry and get that thing put together and get him to see him make passes at the track that, he couldn't hide the joy of doing that. You could tell it was so personal and so special, and to have the privilege to ride along with him in his journey on that, just as a viewer, I loved it. And then to see Sleeper Dude lined up beside him in that series of in that video, that was a blast and a half. And especially that wheelie towards the end of the video where he put that thing on the bumper, that was a blast to watch. And I've actually watched that video more than once just because I enjoyed it so much. So I love the collaboration videos that come out. To me, they're some of my favorites because you get to see both personalities, and when they're able to tailor it to both of their channels, it just takes it to another level. And yeah, that was cool. If you guys haven't watched that, Hot Rod Hoarders is one of my favorite channels, and Sleeper Dude obviously is a favorite, and they got lined up side by side at a track, and that was fun. That was a fun video.
Yep. Did you ever hook up an anti-lag system for the 3500? I tried to. I put a legitimate amount of effort into trying to make that happen. So if you guys saw the original 5-cylinder video, you heard me talk about how the Audi 5-cylinders had a cold air injection system on the exhaust manifold to inject fresh air, I don't know, cold air, fresh air, whatever, to inject air into the exhaust and then add a little bit of fuel, retard the ignition timing, and bang, you can help keep the turbo spooled up when you let off the throttle. And the 3500, the GM 5 cylinders, 6 cylinders, and 4 cylinders as well had the secondary air injection. We spent, I don't know, like a good solid weekend trying to get that to work.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was a flow issue. I tried to use the original pump, the secondary air injection pump from a Trailblazer to try and blow air into the exhaust. That didn't seem to have enough head pressure to be able to overcome the exhaust back pressure. And then we tried to actually duct the air from the turbo. I took the blow-off valve, I unhooked it, and I fed the air from the blow-off valve into the exhaust manifold, basically as like as soon as it started to make boost, it would push open the blow-off valve and push it into the exhaust. And I didn't see any benefits there or anything there that, like, I couldn't get it to pop. Like, I tried to retard the ignition timing, tried to add a bunch of fuel. It just didn't seem to really do the thing. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. But yes, I've put a lot of effort into trying to get that to work, because I know that is probably something that some of you guys out there want to see. But yeah.
Sony wants to know what Niv Mom's favorite car was. We're going to have to find that out.
Yeah,
she stuck her head in earlier.
Yeah.
But we missed an opportunity to ask her that.
Yep.
The Q45 question. One of the things that we've talked about is trying to find one of those engines to see if we can get the crankshaft to work in the VK56 and try and make a D-stroke. What do we figure out? A 5 liter is what that would come out to, and that's something that we want to pursue. So the long story short on your comment, Dark Blaze, is that partially we have, but the intent is to try and steal parts out of the one, put them into the other to create something that didn't get produced by Nissan, so that we can get under a cubic inch limit that is going to work out what we think would be very favorable for a land speed combination.
Probably wouldn't have to clearance the block for that one either. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Matt said post the state, country, continent that you're from in the comments. Yeah, where's everybody from?
Yep.
And Matt said he was from Pripyat, Ukraine. Okay, all right. Hey, I didn't know they had internet over there, but thanks for tuning in. Or is that? Do you have a VPN? Is that what you're, VPNing through? Have you guys ever done anything with the early 70s Comet or Mavericks? What do you think of those platforms? Well, I know you like the Comets, but maybe not the early 70s.
Well, I have a 64 Comet, and it's one of my favorite Comets. I had a 64 Falcon when I was younger, and I love those early cars, even though they are a total pain in the posterior to work on. Anybody with any brain activity would forego working on one of those and get a Mustang just because the firewall's just a little bit further back. They are much more practical when it comes to building a car. But I love the styling of the square cars, and my Comet was a purchase that I made because of a personal connection that I have with the 64 Comet. My grandmother worked at the Mercury dealership. Everybody in the family at the time was getting Mercuries. I love the two-door sedans, and I have one. I actually have a 404 trim model, post two-door 64 Mercury. And I can't wait to work on that thing. That is just, it's going to have to wait until the 55's done, the 57's done, and the other projects. But I'm thinking that I might get a little bit selfish when I retire and say, okay, we're working on this for a while, because I wanna go back to my roots. I want to put a very high RPM small block Ford in it, and I want to have a car that's just something more of my personality. Just, it'll be very raw. It's an ugly little monster, but there's not a lot here to work with, so it kind of matches not only the personality but the appearance. But yeah, I love those things. I love the Mavericks. That's one of my favorite platforms. Obviously, my age, I got to see a lot of those cars in their heyday at the drag strip, and that's a connection that I have. As I got more into racing, I was a first-gen Camaro guy, but before that happened, I was into the small Ford platforms and had a lot of fun over the years with them. And they continue to be one of the more affordable platforms. I was looking the other day at there was a Falcon on Marketplace that it was all I could do not to pick up the phone and try and call the guy, because they're very affordable, and with the technology on the cylinder heads for the small block Ford, and how much power you can get out of an 8.2 block platform, they are far more attractive today for a fast car than they were back in the day when I was playing with them. I got to enjoy having I had a 64 Sprint, Falcon Sprint with a hypo in it, and that little son of a gun flew. That was a lot of fun. Me and some buddies put that thing together, and I say mine, it was ours. It was a group effort, and yeah. So that was a long answer to a quick question. I love the 67s, the 66, 67 Comets. There are a lot of attraction to those. You can put the bigger engine in. I've had a couple FEs over the years. I've never had something like what I wanted to build, and I always wanted to do a 427 or a 428. Everything I had was 360 and 390, and they are dinosaurs. It's one of those things where you only work on those platforms because you love them, not because they make sense. As they all laugh at me hysterically. That guy's an idiot. All right, what else?
Well, if you're an idiot, then I'm half an idiot, right?
No, you've got it. You're squared.
Is that a dominant gene or something?
There you go. Couple Mavericks Vegas and one sexy Mercury Cougar. Yep.
Yeah. Somebody said, "Have you came across a YouTube channel called Build It Yourself?" Yes, we have. We actually watched their V10 swapped Lincoln video on the exhaust tuning the other day. Big fan of those guys.
They've put a lot of work into that project.
Favorite 4-cylinder? My personal favorite is the Mazda BP 1.8 liter. Okay. Yeah. I've not heard of that one, but I guess, we haven't had experience with the Atlas 4-cylinder. Obviously, it's probably going to be my favorite once we start doing that. But I would say, if I had to name my favorite, I would say a 2.2 liter out of a Chevy Cavalier, because that's what I drove to high school, and those things are like indestructible, and it's for no other reason than I have a lot of fond memories with that particular engine. So Yeah.
I love the Dodge Colts in the mid and early 70s. They had this little Hemi-headed four-cylinder, and I forget what size it was, whether it was, I think it was a 2-liter, but they would turn 10,000 RPMs, and oh, did they sound good. And it, when I say they would turn 10,000 RPMs, I'm talking like high school kid level abuse 10,000 RPMs. I'm not talking about, you know, trying to make something survive and being a responsible racer. I'm talking like high school kid level abuse. And that thing took a licking every day. I'll share this story. No, my mom doesn't watch this. But I had the 74 Colt wagon, and a bunch of us got together in the high school parking lot, and it was one of those icy snowstorms, and we were all out there doing donuts and carrying on, and I'm out there, and I had it in fourth gear, and I had it on the wood, and I got into this violent donut, and something, I don't know if it was a pebble, a rock, or whatever, something caused it to grab just enough traction that instead of being in this cyclone whirlwind donut, that thing all of a sudden shot across the parking lot, and I'm going through the parking lot, spinning wildly like a top, and I had to have gone probably 400 feet and almost hit the gas pumps down at the end of the school parking lot. We kind of wrapped it up pretty quick there.
Yep.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, just wide open, and that tack was just buried at over 10 grand. Yep. It was before that. It was who's that? Dark Blaze. The Dodge Colt that became the Mirage was much later than the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one that was the same as, what was that? The Plymouth, not the Horizon, Plymouth. I forget what it was, but the little Dodge Colts, the 1974, they were their own unique platform.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure I would like an Ecotech if we played with one. A few people mentioned one of those.
Those are cool engines. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the one that I got really interested in the came out in the early 80s. The Quad 4. I wanted to do the Quad 4 back umpteen years ago, and I think the technology was probably the predecessor to the Atlas stuff, and I really wanted to do one of those back then. I purchased a bunch of the parts, but ended up selling them. But this would have been before you that I had started to pursue that, and yeah, you're definitely a product of a lot of my bad ideas. I blame your mom.
Yep.
All right. We are past 9 o'clock.
Yep, we are.
We really appreciate how many of you have been hanging out with us, and
this went by really fast.
Yeah, they all have. Next week I'm away. I don't know what your plans are.
Yeah, we'll probably skip. I mean,
okay.
I'd like to keep it going with you. So
yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Yeah,
and,
so next week we'll probably cancel and hopefully pick up the following week. Yeah.
Is there a good way for folks to send you questions that might be worth?
I mean, just leave them as comments on the podcast. I was actually looking at a bunch of them earlier today, and I wrote a bunch of them down, but you guys kept us busy enough that I didn't even get to them. So
that, or we just babble a lot.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So
dancing monkeys.
All right. Well, that concludes the third episode of the Living Late podcast.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep. All right. See you guys.
Bye.